Hello friends and welcome to That Pro Wrestling Guys Wednesday Night Roundup, a revolutionary concept that I'm sure I'm the first to do, where I look at both NXT and AEW on Wednesday night. I compare and contrast, I say what I think works, I say what I think don't work. This was an interesting Wednesday night. AEW, obviously they're hot off the heels of Double or Nothing. NXT, they're just debuting a new kind of match. It's interesting all around. I think I picked a good night to start doing this. And we're going to start with AEW. AEW was a weird show, and it's just coming down off the heat of Double or Nothing, and it's evident the show opens with a Double or Nothing highlight package, and you can see straight away that as far as production goes, as far as like putting together these hype packages and stuff like that, they're actually really good at it. It's really professional. Everything looks really crisp. We cut from the highlight package to a backstage segment with the Inner Circle. They are preparing for a pep rally, and as soon as I heard the words pep rally, all hope I had for this show kind of sunk out of me. I don't think that sounds like something that's going to be entertaining. I audibly sighed, but we'll get to that later. They're talking about preparing the pep rally. They have a truckload of misprinted T-shirts. Supposedly they show T-shirts that says that they Stadium Stampede champions, whatever. I like the dynamic between Jericho and LAX. I mean, whatever Chris Jericho does is going to be good. You know what I mean? Even if he's the only one in the Inner Circle that I really like, what he does is really good. But I do like the dynamic between Jericho and LAX. I'm always going to like Jericho. We cut from that to JR, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur running down the card, which is something I think is very WCW and something I think is cool. I always liked WCW. I think this adds a very professional element to the production of the show. Makes it seem like they know what they're doing. We then get Matt Hardy and the Young Bucks versus Joey Janela and Private Party. So before anyone makes their entrance, they go to a backstage segment. So the Young Bucks are telling Hardy they want him to wind back the clock. Hardy goes to his Team Extreme gimmick, and they ask him to wind it back further, which is funny because he ends up wearing jocks from later in his career. He goes to the blue jocks with the key in him from the time he was feuding with Jeff Hardy around WrestleMania time. I couldn't tell you what year it is now when I'm thinking of it, but it does seem like Matt Hardy is kind of like a full-fledged member of the Elite now. I don't know. I can't comment, but that's how they're making it out to be in this backstage segment. So they make their entrance. Matt Jackson's still selling his ribs. He's got them heavy taped up. And then you notice Matt Hardy is just in phenomenal shape. Like the shape of his career. I don't think I've ever seen Matt Hardy look this good, even when he was like considered at his prime in 2001 or whatever. I think he just looks better here. He looks incredible. It's cool gear as well. It kind of matches the Young Bucks. He's got an elite headband. It's fan service. Match starts. There's standard Young Bucks affair, some cool lucha stuff, some Japanese inspired stuff. Mark Quinn hits a huge head scissors over the top rope to, I believe, Matt Jackson. I didn't write it down, unfortunately. Then Joey Janela hits a nasty looking Death Valley driver onto the floor on the outside, and moves occur. That's the best way you can explain this match. The bell rings. It's the Young Bucks, it's Private Party, it's Joey Janela. You know what you're in for. Moves occur. Hardy looks great, however, he gets a hot tag. He comes in, he starts cleaning house. Janela then somehow gets hung up on the ropes. He's hanging upside down on the outside. The Young Bucks hit him with super kicks and stereo. Then both Private Party members hit Tope Con Heroes over the top to both Bucks. Quinn stands up, he starts selling his knee. He's selling it really well, actually. That takes him out of the match. They have the kayfabe doctors running over to him or whatever. So it's essentially a 3-on-1 handicap then. They have more bang for your buck. Hardy gets the cover for the 3 and the win in 7:41. I mean, what can I say about this match that hasn't been said before? It wasn't too long. If you like that kind of style of wrestling, that breakneck, over the top, moves kind of wrestling, this is definitely going to be your thing. I'm not saying I'm not into it. I just think I've seen enough of it from AEW. I would like a bit of a variation in styles and stuff like that. It didn't feel like a big time Young Bucks match, and realistically it wasn't a big time Young Bucks match. I'm splitting hairs here. It was the opening match of the Dynamite after the pay-per-view, but this isn't necessarily my thing. That doesn't make it bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just an opinion thing. Anyway, moving on. After the match, that's when stuff gets interesting. So Matt Hardy helps Mark Quinn to the back. Good guy Matt Hardy. And then the Bucks obviously left in the ring on their own. They get attacked from the Butcher and the Blade. They're building an angle where the Butcher and the Blade are obviously, fed up with the Bucks, whatever. That doesn't matter because holy shit, you can hear a car revving, a truck pulls into the arena, and yeah, I know these guys. It's the Revival. They debut, they come into the ring, they tease attacking the Young Bucks first before turning around, making the save, taking out the Butcher and the Blade. They hit a really cool spike pile driver, and then they hit a shatter machine, and yeah, I mean, what's there to be said? The Revival are probably the best tag team in modern day wrestling, at least in the USA anyway. I love the Revival. I can't wait to see what they do with the Revival. I do think it might be too soon to put them straight into an angle with the Young Bucks. I think maybe we won't be seeing that at Fyter Fest, but after Fyter Fest for sure. I'm looking forward to that match. When the Young Bucks are wrestling big matches, they're great. Like, I don't want this to seem like I don't like the Young Bucks. When they're wrestling big matches, they're fantastic. No one can touch them. This just seemed like a nothing match. It was just moves. It was moves. There was no reason for the moves. But it was saved by what happened after the match, and I'm excited to see how things go forward. We go from this then, John Moxley, he makes his entrance, he joins the commentary booth. He comes through the crowd, at least there's people in the crowd now. It makes more sense for him to come through the crowd. He's confident walking out, he sits on the booth, he cuts a very confident promo on the situation he's in. And then Brian Cage makes his entrance with Taz. And as cool as this is, as much as I'm down for seeing Taz and Brian Cage together, I can't fucking stand the theme music. And that's going to be a running theme with AEW, I find. I just do not like the theme music. It reminds me very much of like WCW Jimmy Hart. You either have a really poorly written original song or a remake, a badly done remake of an already established song, but whatever, I digress. Theme music aside, this match goes from 24-23 to 25-38. Cage absolutely destroys Lee Johnson. It's a standard 2-minute squash match. Cage looks great. He gets the drill claw over, and then Taz cuts a phenomenal promo. Actually, he quotes his old ECW catchphrase, "Beat me if you can, survive if I'll let you," but he changes it, so it's in regards to Brian Cage. I'm excited to see Brian Cage in AEW. I mean, I like most of what he's done on the independents. I would consider myself a Brian Cage fan. I wouldn't be too familiar with his TNA stuff because, I mean, realistically, who was watching TNA when he was there? Absolutely nobody. But from what I've seen of Brian Cage, he's really impressive. He's a great athlete. He looks fantastic. He looks like he's after slimming down a little bit since being on the indies. I don't want to throw assertions, but maybe he's off the gas or something like that. As if. But yeah, it was great. Fantastic to see Taz doing stuff in wrestling again. I love Taz. I'm a huge Taz fan. I'm a massive ECW mark. That's no secret. Everyone that knows me knows that. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to see Taz. I'm happy to see Brian Cage. Looking forward to what the future holds. Looking forward to seeing Brian Cage fight John Moxley. I reckon that'll be really interesting. We cut then to a segment with Tony Schiavone and Britt Baker. I love the relationship between Schiavone and Britt Baker. I think they're dynamic. The way they speak to each other, it seems really natural. It seems really funny. You actually would think that they've been friends for years, and it's made even more funny by the fact that I listened to Schiavone's podcast, and he talks about how his wife does not like the relationship between him and Britt Baker on AEW TV, and that just adds an extra element on it. I think it's very funny. This segment was good. I thought it was genuinely funny, which is so weird for American wrestling, because American wrestling just has this theme of stupid comedy that doesn't work. It's generally not funny at all, but this segment was really good. Britt Baker, she's a conspiracy theorist now. She's coming up with these conspiracies about how everyone in the AEW locker room is against her. She's got a detective style board. She's got sheets. It's all very funny. I suggest looking it out. She comes around, she pieces it all together that Aubrey Edwards is at the center of all of her misfortune in AEW. It is really funny. Genuinely, check it out. We cut then to backstage. We get a Jericho promo of some of the Inner Circle guys around him. This is nothing. This is boring. It's obviously Jericho, he's charismatic. You're going to listen when he speaks, but this is nothing. This is to set up something in the Battle Royal later on. Orange Cassidy walks behind the Inner Circle as Jericho's cutting the promo. Jericho talks to LAX about how he's going to get him. Whatever. This promo is nothing. It's to set up something later in the night. It's not good. It's not bad. It exists. Right, up next then we get Christy Janes, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. Versus Hikaru Shida. Start off in this one. This is time wasting. A lot of time wasting. Janes does good lucha thing, to quote Kalisto from WWE. More time wasting. Then a series of Hikaru Shida knees and knee-centered offense. There's a Janes hold spot. It gets cut off. Falcon Arrow for the 3 and the win in around 5 minutes. Shida's a superstar. Like, I have so much time for Hikaru Shida. I'm not going to comment on Christy Janes. Obviously, she was used as enhancement talent. You're not going to see her full potential from a match like this. I'd be interested to see, her go 30 minutes with someone of her own kind of caliber. But this was good. Did what I have to do. It got Hikaru Shida over. The weird thing, I was watching on Fight on my phone, and while Hikaru Shida was celebrating in the ring, it cuts to the ad break, but obviously you don't get the ad breaks on Spike. It's picture in picture, so it plays through. But while the ad breaks are on, there's actually no sound, so you just see Hikaru Shida celebrating in the ring for what feels like an eternity, because I imagine they're keeping her out there to waste time before they come back from the break. And it's really awkward because the Fight Network seem to quieten down the music or something. You can't hear the crowd reacting to anything. You just see fucking Hikaru Shida smiling at the camera like a lunatic. It is what it is. I mean, obviously it's handy that you don't get adverts on the Spike Network, but Jesus Christ, show us something. Like, cut to a fucking vignette or something. It looked weird. It was off-putting. It looked like Hikaru Shida was uncomfortable, and I was fucking uncomfortable watching it. It was weird. Right. Next, okay, someone explain to me what's going on here. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page are backstage. One of them's drinking milk, one of them's drinking beer. You can figure out which one's which. They're being spied on. It took me ages to realize that this was coming from obviously some kind of security footage feed, because it's up in the corner of the room and there's no fucking audio. What is the point in this? You're just spying on them, talking to each other, but you can't hear what they're saying. And then Hangman gets up close and personal with the camera. The whole thing is awkward. It's stupid. There's no audio. They're not chatting about anything. They're not getting anything over. What is the point in this? It's not funny at all. I mean, if this was meant to be, haha, hilarious, it wasn't. It failed. God, I don't know what the point of this is. This literally pissed me off. This turned me off the show when I was watching it, because it went on so fucking long as well. And when you've no audio and something's going on that long and you don't know what's going on, they're talking to each other but you can't hear it, you get frustrated with shit like that. I don't know why this had to be on the fucking show. This was worse than the GTV segments from back in the Attitude Era, because at least in the GTV segments you could hear people talk to each other. You knew what was going on. This was fucking stupid. This was absolutely fucking stupid and pointless. I would get more entertainment watching the CCTV footage from a bar I work in. Genuinely, that was stupid. That was pointless. There was no need for that. It shouldn't have pissed me off to the degree that it did, but I can't control it. It did. Moving on. I hate Cody Rhodes' music. I sound so fucking negative in this, but I actually hate Cody Rhodes' music. It's so fucking moany. So as you can imagine, Cody Rhodes is coming to the ring now with his moany fucking theme song. You ever listen to the lyrics of the theme? He's literally having a bitch at the Fed for letting him go and not realizing his potential. And the voice of the singer is a downstate. God, it's moany. It's come to the point now where he's had it for so long, I'm accustomed to it. And if he came out with something else next week, I would think it was weird. But Jesus Christ, that song is absolutely not going anywhere near any of my Spotify fucking playlists, I'll tell you that. What a fucking moany song. And then he comes into the ring, he's cutting a promo, he's got the belt in his arm, he's cradling it like a baby, like Ric Flair used to do, the 10 pounds of gold. It's good imagery, he's got his suit on, whatever. And then maybe 2 minutes into the promo, he makes a jab at the Fed. It's getting old. He seems to be kind of the main one keeping it up. Like the Bucks and stuff will do it on their YouTube show, but they're not doing it on the TV program. Cody's still doing it on the TV program. But other than the jab at the Fed, it cuts a really good promo. It sets up the open challenge concept for the TNT belt. I love open challenge concepts. I love television titles, stuff like that, where I know I'm going to get like a somewhat decent title match every week. That makes me excited for AEW going forward. At least I'm going to get, maybe a 15-minute Cody match. And Cody's good in short bursts. I really like Cody in short bursts. So I'm looking forward to see this going forward. And this is a great opportunity for Cody as well, because he's always considered the weakest worker, pure worker of the Elite. Maybe himself and Hangman, they're both kind of American style, where people that watch the Elite in Japan and stuff like that are used to Kenny Omega and the Bucks. They're, they'd be considered better ring technicians or whatever. But Cody, this is a good chance for Cody to prove himself that he could stand up. He has the ring work that the rest of them have. He'll have a 15-minute good match every week. It'll all be good stuff going forward, and it builds character as well. Everyone's going to get behind Cody if they do this right. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. Next, we have Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc versus Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian of SCU. Is no one going to mention the fact that Frankie Kazarian broke lockdown rules to get hair plugs? Because even as far back as TNA, when he had long hair, he had easily the worst hairline in the locker room. Like, there is no fucking way you're going to convince me that he has the 2005 Randy Orton haircut naturally. That is absolutely hair plugs. He absolutely broke lockdown to get hair plugs. I just want to know. There's no problem with hair plugs. I mean, I'm fucking bald as they come, but I just want to know. I just want it to be referenced. It annoys the shit out of me that no one's referencing the fact that Frankie Kazarian has hair plugs, and not just hair plugs, really fucking good hair plugs. I nearly want to know, because I want to know where he got them, because they look so good, they look so natural. 100% Frankie Kazarian's after getting hair plugs. I would put money on it. I am not a fan of Jimmy Havoc's all leather gear. It's very gimpy. It reminds me of Pulp Fiction, Wake the Gimp Up. And then the more I looked at it throughout the match, the more I thought it looked like it was made of bin bags. It was very much kind of, slapdash Halloween costume, fake Batman mask and a bin bag around your neck. That's what it looks like. The gear looks like it's made of bin bags. I'd be a lot happier with Jimmy Havoc if he went back to wearing the t-shirt and jeans that he was wearing for a while in MLW. I'd be really happy if Jimmy Havoc went back to wearing actual fucking wrestling gear, like tights and shit like that. But no, we have an all leather kind of gimp ensemble thing. But whatever, I'm being too judgmental about people's appearance here. SCU's tag team offense is excellent. As you can imagine, they've been working together for however long now. They look great as a team. Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, they're two big guys. They're not necessarily huge, but compared to everyone else on the AEW roster, they're two big guys. They move quick, they're nimble, they have flashy tag team moves. SCU were fucking great. And then the more I'm watching this, the more I'm watching Kip Sabian, and I'm thinking, what the fuck does Sammy Guevara have that Kip Sabian doesn't, to say that Sammy Guevara is in such a higher position on the card than Kip Sabian? I'm not necessarily saying that Kip Sabian is better than Sammy Guevara, but he's at least as good, and he has more of a look and more of an attitude, I think. So I don't, in my head, I don't understand. Maybe I'm biased, maybe I just like Kip Sabian more, but I don't understand what Sammy Guevara has that Kip Sabian doesn't. That being said as well, I also like what Kip Sabian is doing with Jimmy Havoc and Penelope Ford. I think it's interesting. I think it could go really well. I like the dynamic of him being kind of an evil cunt and Jimmy Havoc being a more evil cunt, and then Penelope Ford being a manipulative cunt. Just three cunts. Like that's what you need in wrestling. You get three cunts, you put them together, they're cunts together. Because everyone can relate to that. No one likes cunts, so you get three cunts and you put them together, and it's instant heat. It just fucking works. No one likes cunts. Three cunts together, no one's especially going to like them. JR is audibly annoyed in this match that ref Aubrey Edwards doesn't reprimand Jimmy Havoc for biting at one point. I think you can hear him actually getting hot on commentary that ref Aubrey Edwards isn't reprimanding Havoc for biting. And at this point then I see that Scorpio Sky, or it might have been Frankie Kazarian, but one of SCU is holding onto a tag rope. And that brought me back to earlier in the show when I got pissed off because Matt Hardy tags into the match while he's on the right side of the ring, but he's on the further corner, so he's not holding any tag rope or anything like that. And if they have a tag rope in some matches, why don't they have a tag rope in every match? It annoyed me when I saw Hardy do it, and I just figured, oh, they mustn't have tag ropes in AEW. Once you're on your side of the ring, you can tag in, and that's fine if you're establishing that. But then later on in the show, you're establishing that you have tag ropes. And I know that I'm nitpicking here, but that's fucking annoying. You can't, it's not one rule for one rule for another. If you have tag ropes, if you have a tag rope system, then it needs to be used in every match. Matt Hardy did not legally tag into that match earlier. As far as I'm concerned, Matt Hardy was not the legal man. But whatever. Okay, so there's a hot tag to Scorpio Sky next. He clears house really well. Scorpio Sky is an impressive athlete. I don't need to tell you that Scorpio Sky did a good job in the ring because Scorpio Sky always does a good job in the ring. At this point, I notice I'm also really digging Havoc and Sabian's tag team offense. They work really well together. I think that since Jimmy Havoc has gone to AEW, it's very much kind of shortcut offense. It's all eye drags and you know, hair pulling and scratching and biting and stuff like that, and that's fine. While he's heel, he can get away with stuff like that. But when he's working with Kip Sabian, then when they're doing tandem offense, he's really athletic. He's showing what he's capable of, and I know what Jimmy Havoc's capable of. He's well capable of, like, you know, World of Sports style and strong style and stuff like that. He just chooses the shortcut style to get over his heel persona, and that's fine. But I did really enjoy seeing flashes of what Havoc could do while he was doing tag team offense with Kip Sabian. Penelope Ford interjects herself into the match to stop the SCU finish. Sabian and Havoc take advantage with a Michinoku driver combination. It looks fucking awesome. They get the 3 in the win in around 13 minutes. The match was good. I mean, a standard tag match. SCU are good. They're pros. They look like pros. I like seeing them work. I like seeing them come out. I think they add a level of legitimacy to AEW that they mightn't have without SCU. Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc work really fucking well together, and it's nice to see Jimmy Havoc work a match rather than a death match. I know he's done that mainly in AEW, but it's just refreshing because I know how good Jimmy Havoc is, and I know how good Jimmy Havoc can be when he applies himself. So I like seeing himself apply himself to something different like that rather than, you know, constant hardcore shit. We cut to that. MJF cuts the best promo of the night so far. I've got nothing else to say about that. MJF is a superstar. The more MJF on our TV, the better. Then we get the Battle Royal for the TNT title match next week. So the Battle Royal is for a shot at the TNT title. We get MJF, Wardlow, Luther, Peter Avalon, Brandon Cutler, Christopher Daniels, all of Jurassic Express, Sonny Kiss, Colt Cabana, Billy Gunn, and Orange Cassidy. Oh, okay. I did not enjoy this match at all. So you kick off, Orange Cassidy gets taken out by LAX. So you know he's going to be at least one of the last people in the ring straight away. And it references back to the Jericho promo earlier. Whatever. This match sucks. I don't like Battle Royals in the best of circumstances. I think Battle Royals are a big jumbled mess. I like a Royal Rumble kind of format where there's a break so you can get like 2 people in the ring at a time, 3 people in the ring at a time, and you can make a dynamic out of it. You can tell a story with it. But when it's just everyone in the fucking ring at the time, and this is AEW, so everyone looks so different. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it looks like indie nonsense. Like, it looks low budget, it looks low brow, it looks stupid. They're doing comedy spots. I don't like Peter Avalon's gimmick. I think Luther looks like he's after crawling out of his grave. I don't think he should be on Turner TV. And there's nothing against Luther. I'm sure he was an incredible deathmatch wrestler back in the day. I'm not too familiar with his stuff. I haven't watched most of it, but he doesn't belong here. And Marco Stunt. Jesus Christ, Marco Stunt. He's a fucking small child. He has no place in this ring. I have fear, I have anxiety every time I see him, and I'm sure that he can do moves better than I will ever be able to do moves in my life. I have no doubt that he is a great athlete. He just fucking looks like a child, and I'm always terrified he's going to get hurt. And I know that's his gimmick, but it's just dangerous. I feel like it's just dangerous, especially when you're coming up against guys like Wardlow that can throw you around with reckless abandon. You don't know what way you're going to land taking a bump outside the ring. You don't know who's going to catch you. When you're that small, your bones are going to be more brittle than the average person's bones, I could only imagine. I just don't like seeing it. It makes me uncomfortable. This match fucking sucks. Most of the people in this match fucking suck. Spot I could think of off the top of my head was the spot where Luchasaurus gets into fisticuffs with Wardlow. And I know that was the only good spot because it was the only spot that popped JR as well. This was the pits. This should not be this late in the card on an AEW show. If you want to put this second on the card or something, yeah, fine. But this was the main event match. Like, this was the last match on the card. This fucking sucks. Who are you trying to impress with this? Like, this was indie stupid nonsense was what this was. This was the kind of stuff you'd see for €10 a ticket at the fucking fairgrounds or in Tivoli or something. This was indie, low budget, tasteless shit, and it did not belong in the ring. Jungle Boy won. At least someone respectable won. Don't watch it. I don't recommend it. They did get a palate cleanser after that though, because I was watching on Fight, so I got an entire 2 extra minutes of the Jacksonville Jaguar cheerleaders while everyone watching on TNT got an ad break. That was good stuff. I could have went another 5 minutes of Jacksonville Jaguar cheerleaders. No complaints here. And then Vicky Guerrero interrupts the cheerleaders, obviously to get heat, but it is hard to get heat when it's involving Vicky Guerrero. It's great to see her in the business. It's great to see her still involved. It's great to see her still loving wrestling. I have all the respect in the world for Vicky Guerrero. I love seeing her. Made me feel really happy. And then we closed the show with this fucking pep rally. And like I suspected earlier when I heard them mention the word pep rally, this was the drizzling shits. Everything leading up to the angle, which we will get to, everything leading up to the angle was fucking awful. Chris Jericho is charismatic. Chris Jericho is entertaining as ever. But this angle is fucking stupid. This is, Bailey, this is your life level of gack. They're exchanging gifts. The humor is flat. It doesn't work. Humor in American wrestling, for the most part, doesn't work. And that's not saying that humor in Japanese wrestling does. But humor in American wrestling can be really fucking cringy. Really, really fucking cringy unless it's handled right. And this was that kind of cringe. This was the kind of watching through your fingers. Oh my god, hoping this was end. This was not executive produced by Larry David. We'll put it this way. It wasn't fucking, highbrow Jewish comedy. This fucking sucks. And then thank God Tyson comes out. And then I'm getting confused because the way they're building it. So Jericho is mad at Tyson about the match 10 years ago that Tyson knocks him out in. But it really fucking looks like that they're building to Tyson versus Jericho. It really fucking came across that they're building to Tyson versus Jericho. There's a big schmoz. Everyone gets involved. Everyone from the back. Tyson's whole crew get involved. Everyone's pulling everyone off of everyone. Jericho has gone beat red. He's screaming at Tyson. Tyson's on the ramp. It really fucking feels like that this is building to some kind of match between Tyson and Jericho. I don't get that. That doesn't make sense to me. I didn't think that Tyson would ever step in a wrestling ring, but that's really, really what it feels like. And I don't want to speculate and come back that it was wrong, but if you watch that segment and tell me that it doesn't seem like Jericho and Tyson are setting up a feud. So that was AEW. And it was alright. The Battle Royal really kind of put a damper on the rest of the show, and it kind of outdid, because there was good stuff. MJF cuts a great promo. Hikaru Shida's a superstar. The tag match with Sabian and Havoc versus SCU was really good. Even the 6-man tag match at the start, if you're the kind of person that likes that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing you're going to like. There was good on the show. The fucking Revival debuted. There was good on the show. But it took a nosedive around the Battle Royal. It really took a nosedive. The pep rally segment was stupid leading up to Mike Tyson. The Battle Royal was fucking awful. And it was really fucking awful. It left a really fucking bad taste in my mouth. I'm not going to lie. It left a really fucking nasty taste in my mouth. There's no place for that on televised wrestling. I'm sorry. There's not. There's a place for that in fucking the bingo halls. There's a place for that, in PWG even, if you want to go more bigger scale. But there is no place for that on televised American wrestling. Big budget televised American wrestling, that doesn't belong. Moving on. NXT. So we get no hype package, no promo, nothing to kick off NXT. We go straight into the action, something I'm all about, with the Group A finals of the Cruiserweight title tournament. Drake Maverick versus Kushida versus Jake Atlas. And already, shut up and take my money. Already, shut up and take my money. Fucking Kushida kicking off the card. I thought he'd be higher up the card at this stage. He seems to be kind of dwindling in NXT, but whatever. I'm happy to see him. It's a triple threat match. You know how triple threat matches work. There's a massive moonsault to the outside by Jake Atlas, followed by a springboard blockbuster, which was a very nice combination. Then there's an O'Connor roll German suplex combo by Kushida. Absolutely phenomenal. Three-way indie strong style spot with the exchange of forearms. Look pretty cool, kind of goofy, pretty cool. Giant swan dive sent on from the top rope to the outside by Kushida. Holy fucking shit, how do you not kill yourself doing stuff like that? Rainbow DDT by Atlas, but Kushida pulls him out before he can make the cover. Then the top rope hoverboard lock, but Spud eats a massive kick, so Kushida can't capitalize. Spud falls off the rope. And then a rolling arm breaker, a rolling arm breaker from Kushida to Atlas, but Spud actually crawls over, makes the cover while the submission locks in. He taps out, but the ref also counts to 3, so that he gets the win in 8 minutes. Then they show a replay, and I know they're showing the replay to show that Jake Atlas is tapped out as well as being counted. But in the replay, they show Jake Atlas's shoulder, the one that's actually in the armbar, is way fucking up in the air. Fire that referee. There was 4 inches between his shoulder, at least 4 inches, possibly 6, between his shoulder and the mat. But other than that, it was a great match. El Hijo del Fantasmo comes out. We get a shake. We go home. This was good. It was a really good, solid opener. 8 minutes, fast-paced action. The finish was a bit screwy, but whatever, we can get over that. The match was good. I'm thinking this was better than anything on AEW, and I have high hopes for the rest of NXT going forward, because this was a really, really good opener. I'm not going to lie. Moving on, then we get a Johnny Gargano promo with Candice LeRae. Now, I do not buy Johnny Gargano as a heel at all, but it was a good promo. He's a wordsmith. He's really good at crafting a promo, heel or face, but I just do not buy him as a heel. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm so used to Johnny wrestling, I'm so used to him being the underdog fighting from behind that I can't buy it. But I really fucking can't buy it. But he does, he introduces the Johnny Gargano Invitational, and out comes Adrian Alanis, or as I like to call him, Mini Roman Reigns, because take a look at him. He is actually fucking Mini Roman Reigns. Gargano hits a sucker punch to get things started. This is at 18:40 into the show. 19:23, Gargano escape. It's all over. I believe he hits 1 super kick in this. This is less than a minute. Total squash match. Gets Johnny Gargano over. Job done. Go home, or so I thought, because we get this stupid, not funny Keith Lee and Mia Yim segment It comes up on the Titantron while Gargano and LeRae are in the ring. They're taking the piss out of Gargano and LeRae, obviously. The segment, it's kind of produced like an old sitcom. I know that's the point. It's got the cheesy music and stuff behind, but like the thing about old sitcoms is that a lot of them are actually funny. This is not funny. This is pathetic. This is what I was talking about, where like American wrestling attempt at comedy can be so fucking cringy. This is the kind of shit I was talking about, and I just did not expect to see Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano involved with this kind of shit. I mean, even looking at my notes, I wrote down, stupid, not funny, Keith Lee and me segment was stupid and not funny. Like, that's exactly what I thought about it. It was stupid and not funny. And then after that in my notes, I have, oh my god, this is still going on. Because it was still going, it went fucking ages. There was no need for this. But I digress. We cut the backstage. Kushida and Spud meet each other. There's no heat between them. Screwy finish is resolved. Spud sets up that when he wins the Cruiserweight title, Kushida will be the first to challenge. Cool. Cut from that then to an excellent Imperium promo with Marcel Barthel and Fabian Eichner. And for two guys that like English is their second language, this is fucking great. Like, this really sets up that they're dominant tag team champions. They know what they're doing. They're great heels. They've got great heel energy. They really put across this like James Bond villain kind of energy. That's really, really good. It's something we don't get enough of in wrestling these days, and something I'm all for. I love Imperium. I love Marcel Barthel. I love Fabian Eichner. I fucking love Walter. Like, he's one of, if not the best in the business today in American wrestling. This was great. It was short. It was sweet. It did what it had to do. It wasn't excessive. This was perfect. Just more of that. After that then, we got Shotzi Blackheart versus Raquel Gonzalez. This is a classic big man, little man match. There's big power moves from Gonzalez paired with quick and sharp offense from Blackheart. Tegan Knox comes out to save Blackheart's tank from being vandalized by Dakota Kai, who accompanied Raquel Gonzalez to the ring. There's a big, great looking power slam by Gonzalez in the middle of this thing. Really crisp, really smooth looking. Babyface Fire keeps getting cut off. Proper, big man, little man kind of mentality. A massive coffin drop from the second rope to the floor from Blackheart, and she takes a rotten bump right on the back of her head and neck. I thought that was it. I had to pause it. I had to go back. I had to pause it. I had to go back. That was really nasty. Really fucking gross. And then a wild Candice LeRae appears to distract everyone so Kai can interject himself in the match, herself even. Big slam for the tree and the win in around 6 minutes for Raquel Gonzalez. This was a nothing match with too much going on. Too much interference. I don't think it really got Gonzalez over because she needed help to get the win. It definitely didn't get Shotzi Blackheart over. She looked kind of like a punk bitch in this. Pardon the pun, obviously she's meant to be a punk bitch, but you know what I mean. I just don't think this was good. I don't think this was good at all. I think that Raquel Gonzalez is kind of green. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know her history. I don't know what she did before being on NXT. But she looks fucking green as ganj. She looks really fucking green. Not dangerous by any stretch of the imagination, but just not. She doesn't have the depth of her moveset that some of these other girls have, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. She's in NXT to get better. It's a school almost as much as it's a show. She's there to get better. She's there to prepare to be on the main roster. So it's okay for her to be green. I'm not giving out that she's green. I just didn't like this match. This wasn't my thing. Too much interference. I can't rate this. I thought this was really, really bad. I'm not going to lie. Right, moving on. We get a Finn Balor versus Damian Priest hype package, and it's a WWE produced hype package. It's awesome. It sets up everything really nice, really neat. Yeah, as I was saying, it's awesome. It sets up everything really nice, really neat. It looks great. I can't even say that it was better than the AEW Rewind package they did of Double or Nothing, because they were both really good, really well produced TV packages. As far as production goes, like, both shows are nearly on the same scale. Like, they're both really well produced, especially when it comes to hype packages and stuff like that. Really, really well done here. obviously the WWE are the best at it. They've always been the best at it. But yeah, impressed. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. I'm actually excited for this match after seeing that hype package. So job done. Cut from that to Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai versus Charlotte and Chelsea Green, who was blacked out in the match card. She was a surprise competitor. Kick off the match, we get time wasting. Io Shirai hits lightning quick offense, lots of fire, and then a really, really clean tope from Chelsea Green, and then a big dive from Io Shirai, which looks really safe, and then back to time wasting. We cut to a commercial, we cut back, Charlotte's in the ring after we come back, we get time wasting. Then there's a fantastic job cutting the ring in half for Shirai. Charlotte and Chelsea Green do a really, really good job keeping Shirai on one side of the ring. The psychology is there. She can't make the tag. That's classic tag team stuff. I'm all about that. I love seeing that in my tag team matches. Then there's a Ripley hot tag. She cleans house. She looks great cleaning house. Rhea Ripley is a superstar. I wouldn't argue because Irish Rise in the match, but Rhea Ripley is really, really good. She's definitely one of the best in the company as far as women's wrestling goes. She's phenomenal. She's really, really good. And then Shirai tags in. She gets some serious offense and a crazy good, really sharp, really good offense. She hits a tiger feint kick and a huge drop kick combination where Chelsea Green actually pushes Charlotte out of the way and takes the drop kick herself, which was really cool. And then you have a miscommunication, unfortunately, between Shirai and Ripley, which causes Shirai to knock Ripley off the apron. Charlotte capitalizes, rolls her up, puts her feet on the ropes. She gets the 3 and the win in 8:25. And this was a good match. This was a really, really solid. I know it sounds like I was giving out when I was talking about the time wasting, but the time wasting is a really small part of what was actually quite a good package. You just need to look at the names in this match to know that this was a good match. I'm not saying this fucking broke barriers and this is the evolution of women's wrestling, but this was a really good match. It did what it had to do. Got Charlotte over, got Io Shirai really over because her offense was the highlight of the match by a mile. She looked fantastic. This was good. This was really, really good, and I would like to see more of this. We cut then to another Gargano and Candice LeRae segment. It's quick, it's snappy, job done. Sets up LeRae with Yim next week. Does what it has to do. Bingo, bango, bongo. Fine. Then we get a Skype call between William Regal and Adam Cole. They set this up as a... what did they say again? Not an argument, but... it's a Skype call. It boils down to it's a Skype call where they're exchanging terms, what they want going forward. William Regal wants Adam Cole to fight Velveteen Dream for the championship. Adam Cole wants a clause to say that if he beats Velveteen Dream, that Velveteen Dream won't challenge for the title again for as long as Adam Cole has the belt. And you know what? This is good. It's two charismatic guys. They can both cut great promos. The dialogue seems natural. It's funny when it's meant to be funny. It's angry when it's meant to be angry. It's good stuff. I don't like the setting of the whole Skype call thing. Like, I guess they're both stranded in their own locations because of quarantine or whatever, but surely there was a better way they could have done this than a fucking Skype call. This just... I don't know. It seemed Bush League. Stupid thing to complain about given the settings that we have at the moment, but it seemed Bush League. We then get a Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan hype package in a pub, and they're drinking fucking water out of Guinness glasses, which just pissed me off because I can't go to the pub at the moment over everything that's going on, COVID-19, quarantine and stuff like that. I can't go to the pub, and if I could go to the pub, I wouldn't waste my fucking time there by drinking pints of water. And then they cheers the pints of water like they're drinking fucking massive pints of Murphy's, and the whole thing made me feel extremely jealous, really pissed off. But it was a good segment. It did what it had to do. It got Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch over, those little fucking cunts getting to go into a pub, whatever. Right, after this then, we got Leon Ruff versus Tommaso Ciampa. Now, I did not know who Leon Ruff was going into this, and I misheard the announcer and thought it was Leon Rush, so I did a double take, but it wasn't, obviously. This is Leon Ruff versus Tommaso Ciampa. After Ciampa makes his entrance, Scarlett Bordeaux comes out and she stands on the ramp observing, very kind of, you know, vague. I got kind of poppy vibes off her. She seemed kind of animated. I don't know, computerized, vague, staring. I don't know how to put it. If you know Poppy, you know what I'm talking about. Those creepy kind of video things. I really got that vibe off her vibe. We kick things off. Leon Ruff is absolutely hilarious at avoiding Ciampa's offense. He does springboards from rope to rope, trying to avoid Ciampa grabbing him in a waistlock. It's actually genuinely funny. And then we get two really snug knees from Tommaso Ciampa and a Project Ciampa. He hooks the leg for the 3 and the win in 1 minute 14 seconds by my count. And then after the match, Karrion Kross, the Titantron cuts to Karrion Kross. Has got this really zoomed in promo. It's zoomed in on his eyes. It's dark. It's in black and white. There's great shadow play. And while the camera is zoomed in on his eyes on the Tron, Scarlett Bordeaux is still standing on the ramp, and the way the camera is looking at it's a really cool visual. And I'm a big nerd for visuals, and I thought this added a lot to the show. I thought this looked really, really cool. The promo, excuse me, the promo was so like, it was a promo. To be honest, I wasn't even listening to the promo because the visual was so cool. They had me sold already. And we cut from that then to the NXT main event. We start by seeing the ring set up for the NXT Fight Pit TM. That's what they're calling it, the NXT Fight Pit. And it looks fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. They have the ropes off. The cage is all the way up to the ring. There's a platform along the top of the cage, which I assumed was going to be for cameramen, which I'm sure it was for cameramen as well, but I wasn't expecting them to do spots up on that platform, but we'll get to that. And then fucking Kurt Angle makes his way, Kurt Angle makes his way to the ring. He's a guest referee in this one. That's fucking surreal. You're tuning into NXT, you're not expecting to see fucking Kurt Angle, but there he is. We get this fantastic hype package. I know I'm really sucking the dick of the hype packages here, but the hype packages are so good. If you hadn't watched NXT ever, and this was your first episode watching NXT, you wouldn't be confused at all as to what's going on, because everything is so well explained in these hype packages and these promos and stuff like that. Every little thing gets explained as it's happening, and that is something you don't get with AEW. When I watch AEW, I find that there's a lot of expecting you to know someone, or expecting you to know what's going on. Like if you're a first time viewer of AEW and you're wondering why there's someone like Luther, and why there's someone like Luchasaurus, and why there's someone like, I don't know, fucking a comedy guy like Cole Cabana, or a fucking librarian in a battle royal, no one gets any fucking exposition. Whereas in NXT, every match, every individual match, every character, everything gets exposition, which is just something that I think WWE as a whole, but particularly NXT, handle head and shoulders above AEW. And then after we get that amazing hype package, we get Tail of the Tape, which is another fucking, it's a great touch. It's something I love seeing in professional wrestling. And for AEW, and I know I'm kind of harking on AEW for a minute, but AEW, the whole mentality behind starting AEW was that it was going to be sports-based wrestling. And here we have NXT, the supposed sports entertainment brand, doing sports-based wrestling better than AEW are doing sports-based wrestling. I mean, if you go back to the AEW show and point out one fucking thing on that show, bar maybe the Brian Cage match, that made you think, oh, sports-based wrestling. The only thing they have that's sports-based wrestling is that they keep track of the wins and losses. This is AEW doing sports, or this is NXT doing sports-based wrestling better than the sports-based wrestling company. But I digress. Again, we get a Tail of the Tape. It looks great. This is Matt Riddle versus Timothy Thatcher in a cage fight. And it's fucking awesome. It's really, really good. Both these guys, they're beasts. I was a huge fan of Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher long before they signed with WWE. I got to see them live all the time in OTT. They were fantastic. In particular, I think Timothy Thatcher as cool as Matt Riddle is, I think as a pure wrestler and not like an MMA wrestler hybrid, I just think Timothy Thatcher is the fucking king. I loved Ring Camp and all this, but these guys are fucking hosses. They're beasts. They're in great fucking shape, and they're really going at it in this. I love this style of wrestling. I want to see more of this style of wrestling. It feels big time. Everything felt real. They hit hard. You know what I mean? Thatcher gets bust open, and he spits his teeth out, and then there's a doctor literally on site who's mic'd up, which automatically shows you that this is a work. He's not actually bleeding. His teeth didn't actually get knocked out, and that's fucking annoying to me because like this match didn't need that. I'm a firm believer. I don't think you need blading in every match, but I'm a firm believer that if you're not going to actually bleed, then why do it? Because it looks stupid 2 minutes later that your mouth is completely healed up. You know what I mean? That fucking annoying. I don't think that this match needed that. And if this is the only complaint I have about the match, then that'll tell you this is a really good fucking match. But I really don't think that this match needed a worked blood and spitting out tooth spot. That really fucking annoyed me, actually, if I'm being honest with you. But then we get a real struggle. Everything looks really sore. It's really cool. There's no gaga. This is at a lightning pace as well. It's not like, you know, you're down, you're selling for a while, you get up, do a move. That person's down, they're selling for a while, they get up, do a move. Like this feels like a real fight. They're all over each other. They're jumping on each other. This is as close as you can get to like actual MMA within the confines of like the WWE style. This is really good. Like I can't put this over enough. So there's back and forth submissions, struggling, big stripes. Then both men make their way up onto the scaffold area after a bit of obvious cooperation, but I won't hold that against them. Riddle misses a Broton, and there is absolutely no give when he hits the scaffold. Like he splats on that fucking scaffold, and it sounds like it fucking hurt. Jesus Christ. And then Thatcher stands up, and you get a really nice close-up of his face, and you see that his mouth has miraculously recovered. There is no blood, there's no sign of distress, there's no swollen lip, there's nothing. And that's why this is so annoying, because no one's going to forget what happened earlier in the match. And then you're going to show their face close up, you're going to show that their mouth is clean. Timothy Thatcher obviously is already fucking missing teeth, but so that it works in that kind of respect. But you know, his mouth is clean, you'd still be bleeding. You'd be fucking pumping blood if you had 2 teeth knocked out, and surely your gum or your lip or something would be fucking bleeding, swollen. I don't know. Thatcher goes back down. So Matt Riddle hits a floating bro from the scaffold, which is a really cool move, kind of a phoenix splash looking thing. Thatcher hooks on a standing rear naked choke, and Riddle uses all of his power to heave him up onto his back. He charges against the cage on one side, charges against the cage on the other side, charges against the back of the cage, goes into the middle and kind of hits a standing senton with Timothy Thatcher on his back. And it looks like he's after knocking Timothy Thatcher off. They're both down in a heap. Riddle sits up, and as Riddle sits up, fucking here's Johnny. Timothy Thatcher sits up right behind him, locks in the rear naked choke again, pulls him back. He's got him in the full stretch. The legs are around the waist. Riddle doesn't tap out, which is something really cool. He goes unconscious, very Austin at Mania 13. He passes out. He doesn't give in to the pain, and that's enough for the win. I actually didn't write down the timestamp for this match because I was enjoying it so much, so apologies for that. It didn't feel like a long match. It felt like it fucking flew, but it was really good, really well put together. This week as a whole, I would say that NXT had the much better show as far as in the ring goes, and more than likely promos and stuff. Definitely promos and stuff like that as well. It's not to say that it's going to have a better show every week, and it's not to say that I like NXT more than AEW, but I feel like there was a lot of stuff on AEW that annoyed me, and I can pinpoint the moment as well, because I actually pretty much enjoyed everything on AEW leading up to the Battle Royal, and as soon as that Battle Royal started, the whole show took a fucking nosedive. until Tyson comes out to save it. And even then, like, what are they going to do with Tyson and Jericho? If they're not having a match, that whole segment was fucking pointless. And I cannot see Mike Tyson having a professional wrestling match. By the time this goes up, I could be proven wrong already. There might already be a match graphic up for it, but I cannot see Mike Tyson having a professional wrestling match. So yeah, this week NXT was a far superior product. It had better matches. Everything felt real. I knew why everything was happening, whereas with AEW there was some stuff I was like, well, why is this happening? You know what I mean? But again, that's just my opinion. Don't let that fucking ruin your day. Don't get your knickers in a twist about it. Obviously, this is open Discord. If you want to challenge me on my opinion, and I'll happily get into it with you in the comments. But like, fucking Jesus Christ, there's no way you could watch those two shows back to back and tell me that AEW was a better, more concise and more professional show. You'd be lying to me, you'd be lying to yourself. This week in particular, I'm not talking about overall. I'm not picking the winner in the war here. But this week in particular, NXT had a much, much, much better show and better product than AEW. AEW might have won in the ratings, but purely content, NXT were definitely the winner in my books. That's my review. That's my Wednesday roundup. I will see you next week, folks.